gonna do nothing but get yourself in trouble, bro.
I have a restraining order on you.
Call the police. That's why she's police.
That's why she recording. That's why she recording.
Don't you f***ing hurt her! Hey! Leave her alone! Oh! Oh my God!
That scream you just heard was from Shaki Allen, a 27-year-old mother who had just started fresh in a new apartment with her 3-year-old daughter. And the man you just watched shoot her down and walk away like nothing happened, he is still free to this day. Before we get into what happened that Sunday, we need to talk about who Shaki actually was, because she was not just a victim. She was somebody's daughter, sister, and mother who was working hard every single day to build something better for herself and her child. Shaki grew up in the Baltimore area, the second oldest of 5 daughters raised by her father, Nakia Scott. She had a nursing qualification, a baby girl she was raising on her own, and from everything her family has said publicly, she was not the type to sit around waiting for life to get better. Shaki made plans and put in the work. She was, by every account, someone who took care of her people and took her responsibilities seriously. But somewhere along the way, she got into a relationship with a man named Amir Johnson, and that relationship had been quietly breaking down for over a year before the rest of the world found out about it in the worst way possible. The two had been an on and off couple for some time, and in the beginning, nobody in Shakia's family had any reason to be worried about him.
The first impression I got of him, he was a cool little kid, you know.
Johnson had been brought into the family circle. He used to call Nakia Pops, share his problems and what he was going through. Behind closed doors, though, things had slowly started getting dark, with Johnson becoming controlling and possessive as the relationship went on. He was reportedly tracking Shakia's car through her phone, so he always knew where she was. He would pop up uninvited at her work events without warning. And Shaki, the way a lot of people do when they are trying to protect the ones they love from a hard truth, kept most of it to herself. She would tell her family about small arguments here and there, but kept the real depth of how bad things had gotten away from them. Her sister Shani put it plainly in an interview. "From what I could see with my own 2 eyes, I would have never guessed the extent of how toxic he was, because he just came off like your average guy. There was no immediate, huge red flags flashing in your face." By August of 2023, things had gotten bad enough that the police got involved. Both Shaki and Johnson filed domestic violence complaints against each other after a fight at the home they shared. A judge in Baltimore County gave them both temporary protective orders to stay away from each other. But then neither one of them showed up to the follow-up court hearing, so both cases were just thrown out. That was the first real chance the system had to step in and do something, and it quietly closed with nothing settled. Then February of 2024 came around, and Shaki had made up her mind. She was done, and she was getting out. She had started packing up her things and moving them out of the apartment she shared with Johnson, and what should have been a simple process turned into a back and forth that dragged on for days. The situation got physical, and Shaki called the police. When officers got there, they found Johnson with a legally registered handgun on his waist in a holster. He had not pulled it out or used it during the argument, and agreed to let police take it out of the home and hold it. He was still charged with misdemeanor assault, though, and a court date was set for April 29th. Shaki was not sitting around waiting for that court date to pass. She moved out, found herself a new apartment at the Renew complex on Whitelaw Place in Parkville, and got to work building the next chapter of her life. Shaki was putting money away to buy a real home for herself and Storm, and from where she was standing, she had got herself out of the situation. At least, that is what she believed. On April 15, 2024, a final protective order hearing was dismissed because neither person showed up to court. It was around 3 in the afternoon of April 21, 2024, and Shakia was in the parking lot of her apartment building, going about her day, and had no reason in the world to think anything bad was about to happen. And then, Johnson showed up. Johnson followed her through that parking lot as she tried to get distance between them. A neighbor from the complex was already recording on their phone. The audio you can hear on that video is very clear. Johnson tells her, Johnson's response was cold and simple, call the police. And then he kept walking straight toward her anyway. The neighbor who was filming started shouting at him. Something shifts in Shakia's voice on that recording, and then she screams out 4 words that sent chills through everyone who has ever heard that video.
Focus on herself and her daughter, and just growing.
Oh, I don't have nothing to do with it. No, you. I'm sorry, you call the police. Get away from me.
You ain't gonna do nothing but get yourself in trouble, dog.
I have a restraining order on you.
Fuck police. That's fine with police.
That's why she recorded.
4 shots rang out right after that, 3 first, then 1 more, and Shakia dropped to the ground. What Johnson did in the seconds after those shots is honestly the part that nobody who has watched this video can shake from their memory. He did not run, panic, or look around in a panic. Johnson just walked away, slow and calm, with the gun still in his hand.
If you're trying to elevate your life and stuff like that, why you can't separate yourself from your old crew and it's no hard feelings or anything?
A neighbor named Jessica Hayostek was looking out from her window when it happened. She heard the shots, and her first thought was that somebody was setting off firecrackers. Then she looked outside and saw what was actually happening. In her own words, she saw a guy walking very casually with a gun in his hand. And that is when she picked up the phone and called 911. Baltimore County Police got to the scene fast. Officers found Shakia with multiple gunshot wounds, and paramedics pronounced her dead right there in that parking lot. Police brought in canine dogs, a helicopter, and officers on foot to search the whole area and surrounding neighborhood. Johnson was already gone. Detectives made it clear from day one that this was not random, that it was targeted. This was a man who knew exactly where his ex-girlfriend now lived, drove to her building, and killed her in front of neighbors in the middle of the afternoon. Now here is the part of the story that gets even harder to stomach. The video the neighbor recorded did not go live on any platform at the time it was being filmed. It was recorded on someone's phone and then posted online in the days after the shooting. Once it hit the internet, though, it spread everywhere fast. It was on X, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. People were sharing it, talking about it, reacting to it. And by November of 2024, just one post on X had already passed 14 million views. For Shakia's family, that level of attention brought its own kind of heavy pain on top of everything else they were already going through. Her sister Shanae said that for weeks after Shakia was killed, the whole family had to stay completely off social media because the video of her death was showing up everywhere they turned.
So how could you find it in your heart to chase her down and just shoot her in broad daylight?
Justice for Shakia started gaining steam, and along with it came a lot of serious, pointed questions from people across the internet. People wanted to know why no one physically stepped in to help her. They wanted to know why it took Baltimore County Police all the way until July of 2024, nearly 3 months after the murder, to officially name Johnson as the suspect and put out a wanted poster. And most of all, people wanted to know how a man who was literally recorded on video committing a murder was somehow still free. On the whole question of why bystanders just stood there and filmed, Amanda Rodriguez, who runs Turnaround, a Baltimore County organization that works with survivors of domestic violence, spoke directly about it in the Baltimore Banner. She said, "People nowadays are so quick to pick up our phones and start recording, but less quick to call 911. Or to engage in a safe way to stop abuse." She also pointed out that sharing a video like this publicly is a complicated thing, because while having it recorded helped with the investigation, putting it online for the whole world to watch over and over again causes real damage to the family left behind. And then, on top of everything else, there was the text message. Hours after he killed Shaki, Amir Johnson sent her father, Nakia, a text that said, "It was nice knowing you." This was the man who used to call him Pops. Sending that message after murdering his daughter is what Nakia has described as the greatest betrayal a person could ever experience.
When she got her first apartment, I always wanted to be over there.
Sending me stuff on TikTok about when people talk about they don't have their fathers in their life.
Let us be real about where things stand right now, because they are not good at all. As of early 2026, nearly 2 full years since Shaki was shot to death in her own parking lot on a Sunday afternoon, Amir Johnson has still not been arrested. He is still out there somewhere, and the case is still open. The reward money is still waiting, and Shaki's family is still waiting for the day somebody finally brings him in. Johnson was supposed to walk into a courtroom on April 29, 2024, just 8 days after the murder, to face trial on the assault charge from February. He never showed, and by that point he had already been running for over a week and showed no sign of stopping. Police believe he has strong ties to Brooklyn, New York, and that he most likely headed there after the shooting. Baltimore County detectives have been working directly with the NYPD to track him down. 2 police departments in 2 major cities, a murder on video for the whole world to see, and still no arrest. That last part is important, and it needs to be said clearly. A man does not stay hidden this long on his own. Somebody has been helping him, whether that means putting a roof over his head, giving him money, or just keeping their mouth shut when they should have been on the phone with police a long time ago. And whoever those people are, they need to understand what they are actually doing. They are helping a man who killed a 27-year-old mother stay free while her little girl grows up without her.
Take a gun to talk to someone is never a good idea. And it's too late with that, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't this, I didn't that. What did you have it for just to talk?
That's why she recorded.
Hey! Get off her!
Speaking of that little girl, Storm was only 3 years old when her mother was killed. At Shaki's funeral, the little girl said, "I don't have a mommy no more." She is now being raised by Shaki's family, her grandfather Nakia and her aunt Shanae.
Storm is 3. When she was at the funeral, he and her say, "I don't have a mommy no more." And of course, that made me cry.
Nakia set up a GoFundMe with 2 purposes: to help grow the reward money for information on Johnson, and to start putting something away for Storm's college education one day. The bigger picture here is something that people who work in domestic violence have been saying out loud for years, and nobody has been listening. Domestic violence-related killings made up about 13.6% of all homicides in Baltimore County in 2024. Inside that number are women just like Shaki, women who tried to get out, who filled out the paperwork, who called the police, who followed every step they were told to follow, and still ended up dead anyway. Shaki's sister, Shanae, has been one of the loudest and most consistent voices keeping this story in front of people since it happened. She said something that is worth really thinking about. "My sister had the courage to leave, move out of their shared apartment, and save up for her and her daughter's new home. She chose to save herself. And to kind of know that her story was cut short at a time where she felt like she was just beginning is really devastating."
You're going to have to see me, and you know I'm going to deal with you. So you might as well just turn yourself in, and this way we both can start our process.
Shanae has also been careful to make clear that she hopes people do not look at what happened to Shaki and decide that leaving is not worth the risk. The danger is real, but staying in a situation like that carries its own deadly risk too.
It's hard to even try to heal, to try to move on when he's still free. Justice has not been served yet, and I feel like the first step to trying to process your grief is just having some sort of justice.
As for Nakia Scott, Shaki's father, he has a message for Johnson himself that he has already put out there publicly. This story does not have a proper ending yet, and that is a hard thing to sit with. But the people who loved Shaki are still out here, still pushing for answers, still asking the question that all of us should be asking. How does a man who was caught on video killing someone in front of witnesses in broad daylight stay free for 2 years? Let me know what you think in the comments section. Also, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.
When I'm going through something, she was one that I could call and I could talk to her about anything. She's like, Dad, it's going to be all right. You're going to be okay, Dad. If you need something or you need some support, I got you, Dad. I got you. And it's like now she's not here. And I just miss her. Yeah, I just miss my girl.
Former homicide detective Luis Bolaños. Luis, when I look at this video, unedited, unfiltered, it is so disturbing, and it happened outside in broad daylight.
Yeah, it's extremely disturbing. This was an execution at the very least, and that should be infuriating city officials, city leaders to put this on the front burner and give it the attention it deserves. This guy is still on the loose, and the public is in danger. This is going to be a violent ending, most likely, when they finally catch up to him.
You've worked a lot of cases like this. What do you do when you cannot find the suspect?
Well, I think this is screaming for community involvement. And one of the things that really shocks me in this, I think it's just downright disrespectful, is the fact that the reward is only $2,000. I think that it takes a community effort. $2,000 is not going to make anybody pick up that phone, but this case is starting to get to the point where it's going to take a phone call to catch this guy.
Do you think he gets caught because he makes a mistake or because someone turns him in?
I think it's going to be a little bit of both. I think he's going to trust the wrong person, and they're going to turn him in.
As always, thank you, Luis, for your insight.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't have nothing to do with it.
No, you.
I'm sorry, you can call the police. Get away from me.
You ain't gonna do nothing but get yourself in trouble, dog.
I have a restraining order on you.
Call the police. That's fine. Call the police.
That's why she recording. That's why she recording.
Shakira was someone who is very adventurous. Definitely, I wouldn't classify her as a homebody. She loved to, go out and have her fun. Of course, spending time with Storm.
Waiter! Oh, what you doing?
Then give somebody else some food.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Don't call me.
Don't call you again?
She was a beautiful spirit. She really was. She was fun. She was amazing to talk to. I could talk to her about anything. I loved that.
Damn, little lady. You sure can't put it away.
I first met Amir, I believe, at her place, and my first impression of him was that, he was a normal guy. I thought he was quiet, but there was no immediate red flags. It seemed like he made my sister happy, he made her laugh. So there was no alarm bells upon that first meeting, and even the ones that came after that.
Shoulders, knees, shoulders, cup.
I want to know, is it a bad thing to go through something and want to go through something alone? Is it wrong for you to be isolated? You don't get that? You can't be isolated? Why do everybody make that seem like it's a problem to want to go through something and deal with it alone? Why can't people just go ahead and be isolated? And why can't, if you're trying to elevate your life and stuff like that, why you can't separate yourself from your old crowd and it's no hard feelings or anything, but it's I'm just trying to upgrade my life.
He would sometimes pop up where she was at and, didn't want nobody to look at her, didn't want nobody to say nothing to her. And I said, yo, you can't control my goddamn child. Yo, she's her own person. And I'm like, yo, that's some stalker shit.
He was very possessive.
I have a restraining order on you.
Call the police. That's fine. Call the police.
It was just horrific. It's just one of those things that put
it puts a pit in your stomach to hear your sister sound so scared and desperate. And I just know that she was thinking of Storm.
That's why she recording.
Hey! Get the f off her, you asshole! Leave her the f alone, I'm calling the cops! Come here, girl! Oh my god, should I call him?
I'm calling her.
And I heard like pop, pop, pop. And then I saw a guy walking very casually with a gun in his hand.
Like, I hated knowing that she was so scared in her last moments. And I hated knowing that she tried to get away. She tried to get away and he ran after her in broad daylight. He had no heart, heartless. That was just pure evil. To this day, sometimes this still doesn't feel real.
I miss every day and I talk to her every day. It hasn't been a day that ain't go by that I don't talk to her.
So he can sit every day and really face the consequences of his actions, because there's no way he should be able to get away with this. He's been free way too long. Death penalty is way too easy. You need to like actually be punished and suffer in jail for what you did.
Damn, man, I came front, dog. I miss you like a motherfucker, man.
Anything, and at that time it was 1,500. But then he said he's reaching out to some people, that whoever it is that they reach out to for rewards, and they just put up another 500. And I say, wow, just 500. And I was like, well, what can I do? And he was like, well, nothing right now, and we'll get back with you. And he never said nothing else about it since then, saying that her life is only worth 2,000.
I just wish that they would search for him like it was their own daughter, their own child. You know, imagine, this happened to you, how you would want someone to find the person that did that to your sister, your daughter, whoever is, close to you. I just wish that they could put way more pressure, because we know that they are capable of it. There are many cases where this would have never happened. It would have been solved, and getting the public on it, and the public also applying pressure to the police department matters so much, because it helps make significant progress in cases like this where you see things fizzle out. And I think a lot of people probably also assume that he was caught, and I think that's also a big part of the problem as well.
Well, honestly, I think that they can do a way better job than what they're doing, and they can also start with communicating with me and at least come to see me. You could have even had me come to the station. I don't even know what station he's at. I don't know any information about him. What station's he at? Because he never said, well, okay, this is the police station where I work at, or whatever, or office building. I don't know anything. I would like for him to just come and talk to me as a parent, because he's a parent himself. So, you would figure from one parent to another that just like, I'm gonna communicate and talk more. And I want to know more about this $2,000, and I want to know, what are they actually doing to try to find him, because there's so much CCTV. And I'm like, he hasn't popped up anywheres. They got me wondering, like, what, he had enough money to get his face changed or something? So I'm like, y'all can't find him, and he's on video.
The lack of investigation is definitely really frustrating. And that's why, it's definitely our hopes to remind people, we do still care. We miss her. We feel her absence every day. We might not, of course, talk about it every day, but we feel it every day. It's not something that's always easy to bring up. For me personally, I'm supposed to have 7 sisters. I've always had her, so I feel that hole, where my sister's supposed to be every single day. And the least we could do is get justice for her, is how I feel, because I know if it was any one of us, she'd be fighting hard every day, for us. So that's how I feel.
To pump it up more than just some $2,000. And I want to do something for Storm, because she was in her daughter's life. She was a good mom.
Share Shakia's story. Support her family. Help keep the pressure on.